What would you do if the person you thought was a threat turned out to be the one holding all the power? In the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, where manicured lawns and nosy neighbors defined the rhythm of life, a single moment shattered the illusion of safety. It was a humid summer evening, the kind where the air clung to your skin like a second shadow. My daughter, Lena, was home for the first time in months, or so I thought. I didn't know she was carrying a secret bigger than any of us could have imagined. Lena had always been a firecracker, sharp-witted, fearless, with a smile that could charm a snake. Growing up, she'd raced through the neighborhood on her bike, dodging the HOA's petty citations for unapproved lawn ornaments or excessive noise. But at 28, she was different, quieter. Her eyes held a weight I couldn't place. She said she was consulting for a government agency, vague enough to make me worry, but not enough to pry. That night, she'd gone for a walk, her leather jacket slung over her shoulder, her steps purposeful. I watched her disappear around the corner, unaware that trouble was already circling. It started with a flashlight beam cutting through the dusk. Carl, the HOA's self-appointed security officer, had spotted Lena near the community park. Carl was a retired mall cop with a power complex, the kind of man who wore mirrored sunglasses and a cheap badge like they made him invincible. He'd been itching for a confrontation ever since Lena's teenage years, when she'd called him out for finding a neighbor over a crooked mailbox. Now he saw her standing by the park's edge, her phone in hand, typing furiously. To Carl, she looked suspicious. To anyone else, she was just a woman minding her business. "Hands where I can see 'em," Carl barked, his voice cracking with adrenaline. He fumbled for the Glock he wasn't supposed to carry, pointing it at Lena's chest. My heart stopped when I heard this later-me little girl, staring down a barrel. But Lena didn't flinch. Her eyes locked onto his, calm as a frozen lake. "You're making a mistake, Carl," she said, her voice low but steady. He didn't listen. He never did. What Carl didn't know, what none of us knew, was that Lena wasn't just my daughter anymore. She was Special Agent Lena Harper, FBI, working undercover to bust a trafficking ring that had wormed its way into Willow Creek's underbelly. Her consulting was a cover for months of surveillance, her phone filled with encrypted messages to her team. That night, she was waiting for a contact, not breaking any HOA rule. Then came the twist. Headlights flooded the scene. A beat-up sedan screeched to a stop, and out stepped Maria, the neighborhood's quiet gardener. I'd always thought Maria was just shy, her hands perpetually dirt-stained from tending roses. But as she stepped into the light, her posture shifted, authoritative, almost militaristic. "Stand down, Carl," she said, flashing an FBI badge of her own. Carl's jaw dropped. Maria, the woman he'd once fined for unauthorized mulch, was Lena's handler, her partner in this covert operation. The two women exchanged a glance, a silent agreement forged in months of trust. Carl's gun trembled in his hand. "This is my jurisdiction," he sputtered, but his voice was hollow. Lena stepped forward, her own badge now visible, glinting under the streetlight. "No, Carl," she said. "This is mine." In that moment, the power shifted. The man who'd terrorized our neighborhood with petty rules was nothing against the weight of federal authority. Lena disarmed him with a single, practiced move, her training evident in every motion. Maria radioed for backup, and within minutes, real law enforcement arrived, not Carl's HOA cronies, but agents in vests marked FBI. I didn't see Lena until hours later, when she slipped back into the house, her jacket scuffed, but her expression unreadable. "You okay?" I asked, my voice shaking. She nodded, but her eyes told a different story, one of adrenaline, duty, and a burden she couldn't share. "Just another day, Mom," she said, forcing a smile. I wanted to ask more, to understand the life she'd chosen, but I knew better. Lena was no longer just my daughter. She was a protector, a shadow moving through a world I'd never fully grasped. The next morning, the neighborhood buzzed with gossip. Carl was gone, his HOA badge stripped, his ego shattered. Maria was back to her roses, her cover intact, though I caught her watching Lena's house with a quiet pride. Willow Creek would never be the same, not because of the scandal, but because of the lesson. Power isn't in a badge or a gun. It's in the courage to stand for what's right, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Lena left again a week later, her duffel bag slung over her shoulder, her destination a mystery. As I watched her go, I realized something. My daughter wasn't just surviving in a dangerous world, she was shaping it. And no HOA cop, no matter how trigger-happy, could ever take that away from her. Yindi.